Sorry. Uh-oh. I was very taken aback with the statement that you made last week, saying that water has absolutely no benefit. I have over here.
No. That's not what I said.
No nutritional value. No. Oh. Sorry. Wait a second. Look at all of these things that water does to the body.
Say, what did you? We so far are on the same team.
Oh, okay. So you'll have to repeat to me what you actually
said. It has no nutritional value. Does your radiator do anything for your car? No, because it's electric. Does your radiator do anything for your car? No. All it does is cool it down.
That's nothing?
It doesn't give anything to your car. It doesn't give anything. All that it does is make sure your car doesn't deteriorate. It is not giving something.
But I have 8 things over here that it does give.
Oh, let me hear.
One thing, healthy kidneys. It helps.
Nothing.
That's nothing.
No. Why is that nothing? Because all that it's doing is maintaining that which is. It's not adding anything.
It helps to to make sure that your kidneys function properly. That's what I'm saying.
What's I'm saying? We're having a argument in definitions. Okay, but it's not semantics. It's not semantics. It's totally different. There are things which are doing which are maintenance, right? Okay. Now, in order for a person to stay healthy, just like you have a motor. So you have to oil your motor. Why do you have to oil your motor?
So it functions.
No, because if you don't, it will wear out. Does it do anything to your motor? No. It makes sure that it doesn't break.
That's not doing something?
No, that's the same. That's where we're arguing. That's not doing something. When I eat food, it gives my body koyach that it didn't have before. It doesn't keep what's there. It's adding strength. This is the. Are we friends? Let's hear the list.
Prevents cramping muscles.
Exactly. Same thing.
Avoid dehydration.
Same thing. All of these things.
It helps with digestion.
Same things. These things are how it lubricates and makes sure that the body functions as it should.
Bloating.
All of these things. So far we're doing. So far I'm doing 100. I could be a science teacher.
It says it helps. It gives you less stress. More
because all these things.
Again, dehydration.
That's all these because when the water system things work better.
Improves blood circulation.
Okay.
Same thing.
So far, 1 second. When I ask, we'll ask you. Let's put it this way: can a person overdose? What happens if a person overdose on water? It doesn't happen. No. What happens is that you have. It's not your body can't overdose on the water. Your kidneys can maybe go into hyperactivity trying to get rid of it. But there is no. I eat food. I am giving gas to my car. When I add fuel, when I add oil to my motor, I am making sure the motor will not deteriorate. They're not the same thing. Food gives power. No, I'm for drinking water. I haven't had water in at least 7-8 minutes. I don't know. Right before I came here, I think 4 glasses. Okay, so I'm all for it, but it's not. No, the discussion over here is the definition of what your air conditioner gives you cold air. It's giving you something, right? If a person would have air circulating, wouldn't necessarily, doesn't have to be will make sure that the air doesn't become stale and unhealthy. It removes the bad air and gives you new air. Is that giving you something? It's just removing the impurities. Does going to the bathroom, does that give you anything?
Belief.
It does nothing. It gets rid of pollutants in your body. Yeah, no. I didn't say it's not important. It's one of the 11 functions. There's one of the 11 functions of every living organism. I also learned solid science. Right. That's not giving you anything. Going to bed is not giving you anything. If you don't, person can't go to the bathroom, we have a special bracha about going to the bathroom. It's very important, but it doesn't give you something. The snow cloud gives you something? Absolutely nothing. That's why you live in Florida, right? Right? But what it does is it lets you live your life without this nuisance. That's what going to have all this junk and going to the bathroom is the snow plow getting rid of it. No, nothing personal. I like snow. Anyways, friends? Yes. Okay. All right. Now, we learned last week about the interlude between davening and going to work. Now we're going to learn about going to work. Why does a person go to work?
Feed his family.
To feed his family? Okay. I would like to ask you a question. What does the word career mean? What are you laughing? You want to answer?
It's funny that none of us could actually answer that question. We don't know the answer to the question.
Exactly.
It's more than just work.
It's
like a personal journey.
Okay, so I'm gonna use this muscle. Rav Mendel Kaplan, with the unusual Rebbe of the Philadelphia Yeshiva, was a super yeshivish guy, and he was driving his car and he hit the guardrail on the side, and I actually watched the video. And the cop calls him over and says, "Rabbi, you got a bang on your side." And he says, "Sir, I didn't get a bang on my side. My car did." What was the conversation that happened? There are people who live through their car. My car represents who I am. Okay? Why is it that the richest guys have Teslas? Because they need to save on gas? Why do they have Teslas?
Status.
Because it says something about them. I thought you have a car to get from one place to the other. Zagamo said that. And I'm going to explain to you, this is very, very fascinating. We live in this world of high tech. A cell phone, an iPhone can do everything except what it's supposed to. The item that does what it's supposed to is called a telephone. Nowadays, you buy a telephone, even if you buy a telephone, it doesn't have any games on it. It doesn't have anything else. You know why? Because it's not a toy. Your phone that you carry in your pocket is a glorified toy. Okay, nothing personal. I'm just saying that there's no limit because there's no end of toys. But your phone that you have in your kitchen just used to make phone calls. That's all it is. Okay? So this is a person who has a career, it's part of who he is when he wakes up in the morning. He thinks about what he's going to do. Now, I'd like to share with you something I said once here in Shul, maybe about 15 or 17 years ago, and I was amused at the time I got away with it, and nobody slaughtered me on the spot. I said something extremely offending to most people, but I guess they just were down with consequence. I couldn't have meant what I said. What I said was, we discussed going to the bathroom. Is going to the bathroom important? Very okay. So I say, so yes, what did you do today? Are you going to talk about the bathroom?
No.
Why not?
It's something personal.
Okay. Yes. What do you do today? Are you telling me to eat lunch? But it's important?
Yes.
So why when I say, what did you do today? What?
Not considered doing.
Why is it considered doing? No, that's not the reason why. You'll say, I learned Daf Yomi today. Because it's not in the purpose of life. No, that's not the reason why. It's because it's not in the purpose of life. It's what life demands. Doing means you did something to achieve the goal of your life. The goal of your life is not to be a foodie. If you said, what do you do today? I ate lunch. I'll say, maybe I won't say it out loud, but that's what I'll say. That's called you did something? When you do that, I went to the gas station. Zelo says that. You understand? So going to the bathroom is as important as eating, and you don't consider that an accomplishment. It's important, it's necessary, but it's not an accomplishment because that's not the purpose of your life. To accomplish means that you are coming closer, or you're achieving the goals of your existence. The goal of his existence was not to eat lunch. Yours, but not mine. Okay. What? Yeah. We will take care of all those questions. By the time we're finished today, all of these questions will go away. Okay? Now,
so when we ask our kids what you do, they say nothing. You're right.
Unfortunately, usually that's true. Now, let's when I say to you, what did you do today? And you say, I looked at Dr. Gemara, I helped an old person. You say things that you're proud of that you did. You're not proud that you ate lunch. Not because it's part of your system, but because that's not a purposeful existence. That's maintenance. What did you do? I took my car to the garage. No? Kalash. Okay? A person has a job. The reason why he has a job now, right now, I'm going to define this definition, is not mine. Work is what you do that through it enables you to live.
That's different than a career.
One second. That's work. When your work becomes a love, then it can become a career. When it takes part of you, I don't want to belabor this point, but I guess I'm going to have to turn off this machine for what I'm about to say. But I heard once, let me turn this off. Does a Jew go to work? To support his family. Did he support his family nobly for 25 years? Yes. They didn't fire him.
Sure, but you still lack
a certain lack of career. So what was the purpose?
No purpose is in working. Now there's self-fulfillment.
So I want to tell you, I want to share with you a paradox. Okay? And this question bothers me to no end until I have the end. But anybody who didn't ask this question wasn't thinking. I'm asking a question that every third grader should ask, and I haven't yet found anybody who asked this question. Klal Yisrael were oppressed by the Mitzrayim. So far, so good? The Mitzrayim, okay? And they had to build Pison Baramses, which collapsed, and they were pained by it being collapsed. Why in the world would you be paying by being collapsed if this was going to help your enemy? They should have be gladdened. Did I ask a difficult question?
No, you need a purpose.
So what was their purpose? So here, one second. Gil, is this a question? This is a quirk in human nature, right? Because you should be happy that it collapsed because your enemy went nowhere. What? But since I project myself in the work that I did, so therefore it affects me negatively because I see as if part of me collapsed. Should that be? Should that be? 1 second. Because you have it, don't call it a human condition. Because you have it, don't call it a human condition.
It's not. But it's your hard work. I put my blood, sweat, and tears. It's not necessarily me. I'm happy for the enemy, but it's my.
You know what?
Not necessarily.
They saved you from being whipped. Got that? Because the mitzvah would have whipped you if you wouldn't have made the mix. They did exactly what they're supposed to do. They did get whipped anyways. Degrading, HaKadosh Baruch Hu did it. One second. I would like to take everybody to task. I think everybody should have asked this question. Dr. Cohen, is this a simple question I'm asking?
But it says, but the human condition is generally not going on.
That's what I'm saying, but this deserves examination.
But objectively, people don't take any job. They take a job that...
They didn't take it, they were forced.
I think, but in general, people take a job that also gives them satisfaction.
Can I ask you a question? Parents, let's move this a little bit forward. If you had a Jew who his job was to build the crematoria and the Allies bombed it while he's in the middle of building it, how should he feel? Human condition, it's normal.
But this is easy to understand because...
No, it's not. It's exactly the same thing.
It's not a different scale. And we try to convince them they're part of the economy.
Okay, 1 second.
They were with, but they were still part of the economy.
You fell into it. It became a career. That's good, because I see myself. This is part of my country. You were promised, right? So I said, you're going to hear it, right?
It's not only...
There is a doubt.
There's definitely a difference in the two cases.
Okay, you know what? Let's sleep it. If I caused you not to sleep tonight, I was successful. Okay. Anyways. Because he did his profession with distinction.
Why?
Because that's part of the social object discusses that thing. That's your job. You're supposed to do it. Everything you do is supposed to do as best as you can. But not because, just like when I make, because right, everything you do you're supposed to do, right? That's but not because I feel mu'ushar, justified. My existence is justified. The reason why I woke up today is because I made 2 shoes? No. I'm justified because I didn't rip off the guy I sold the shoes to. It's not the same thing.
The same thing applies. Let's say I spend an hour learning Toasters. At the end of the hour, I understand it. I'm happy. If I don't understand it, I still spent an hour learning, but I'm not happy about it.
It's different. One second. So like that. You used a adjective which is beyond me. What about that is the same? When you spent your hour learning and you don't have shot, and you come home and your wife says, "Pirates, how's your day?" You'll say, "Very invigorating. Unfortunately, I didn't get shot in Tysus." You didn't say I wasted my time.
No, I'm not saying that you
wasted. Avada is an added thing, and you identify with your learning, and that's part of who you are in your learning. It's not the same thing. It's exactly the opposite. Because if you aren't part of your learning, not your learning is part of you, then there's something wrong with you.
No, it's the same thing. If I build a building and it falls down, I didn't waste my time, but I don't feel the satisfaction that I accomplished something.
What's that? You know what? Parents. Let's. I don't really want to get carried away on this subject, but let's say you built a building and they used it for 20 years, and then it collapsed. You still feel bad. Yes, you feel. Of course you would. Of course you would. Of course you would. Even though it's used, it was appreciated, and all of that. It's an extension of you. It's an extension of you. That what you built is an extension of you. And when it's taken away, so they cut off a piece of you. What? Okay.
Steel workers from the World Trade Center, and it went nowhere.
Right. But I said, fine. I'm not. Listen. If I shook you up, that's fine. Now let's just move on. Okay, that's not the point over here. When we speak about why does a person go to work, if he single-mindedly understands the reason why I go to work is to support my family, so that's where it starts, that's where it ends, and you hang up your cleats at the end of the day, you go home. That's all. I got paid for what I did, and that's all. Now I move on to my life. The person who has a career is churning, his brains are into it, thinking about what he can do to improve, to make better, because it's part of who he is. He sees it as an extension of who he is. Now, I just would like to just move this away for 1 second. There's a difference generally between men and women. Men have a thing called a dormitory, which is their house. Women have a thing called a home. They just happen to share the same address. Okay? A woman, she takes pride. It's an extension of who she is. Men don't have it to that degree. It's not an extension to them in the same way. Maybe their car is, but not their house.
The man Pastor Shalom wants to move the furniture.
His life is in danger.
Yeah.
Right? Why is that? That's like you're putting braces on your wife without her knowing about it. What kind of business is that?
That's why they built the dormitory.
No. The reason why is because they relate to it that it's a place that services their functional needs. That's it. No, the purpose of the home is something different. Okay, this just exists in many areas. Doesn't mean that a man can't enjoy his house. I'm not discussing that now. When we're discussing right now, a person has to go to work. I would like to introduce you to what the Shulchan Aruch says about work. And I'm not disagreeing with one word the Shulchan Aruch is going to say, and I know next week you're going to come in with a list of 20 things, okay? I'm going to be in deep trouble. Okay, let's see. The Chol Torah she'eni ma'malacha, soifa b'teila v'gereres avo. Why do I go to work? Maintenance. In order for me to lead the life that I need, I have to go to work. And it serves a very important function. Okay? Now, I'll drop the bomb of what I said here in Shul and I got away with. I don't know if I'll get away with it here tonight after you understand what I'm talking about. I said a person who takes pride in his work, in a sense, is similar to taking pride in going to the bathroom. You don't work as your life. You work to stay alive, to function, to be able to do what you need to do. Now, I didn't say a person shouldn't. Again, I'm not saying a person shouldn't take pride in his work, but you have to understand its place.
You should take pride in trying to do your work the best you can.
Everything that you do, you should do the best you can. Right? No, I'm not against work. And when you make the set the table, you should set it properly. Yes, and the spoon should not be like this; it should be like that. You should do everything. You should do it right. I'm not in any way diminishing the importance of work, but a person has to know why is it that I go to work, and what? I'm going to work. Well, that's what's going to work. You can sit and read your newspaper and also become usually so. And what about if you develop big bombs? How's that? Is that also you should ready to show? No, it's like, well, if this is again in Chutzor, it's not a soul subject. It's going to work. There's a person who can harness himself because a person needs to sustain himself, and for that you need money, and for that you have to go to work, and a person should do it well, and it should be accomplished in that which he does. Maybe, but that's not the subject. That's a subject. You can learn this halacha if we were in England right now, right? That has nothing to do with the subject. This we can learn this Mishnah Berurah right now in the wars of England. Okay, that's all. The same thing is true. Now, Avada, just to make it clear, going to work is a curse. No, it wasn't supposed to be this way. This is because we were punished that we had to go to work.
Maybe that's why some people look down.
Perhaps. I want to make something clear. I am not in any way saying anything negative about going to work.
Some people do look down on people that do it.
Okay.
Superiority complex.
Okay, whatever. That's I don't know. I don't think anybody should look down at anybody. Our job in life is to look up at people, not to look down at them. Always. Okay. Anyways. This is fascinating. A person who doesn't have financial stability will cause him to sin. So you better make a parnosa. It's very important. Basic. What?
Just something to see.
How does that work? It's So it's not a choice that he's poor.
I don't begin to understand the connection between your question and what I said.
You just said that it says
No, I said you have to try to be misparness because it has even lethal ritual effects.
And once you try, the results.
No, it's not. It's not. Okay, that's a Kodesh Baruch is one of the sides. In every profession, there are losers. The best of professions, if I'm not mistaken, over 40% of people have PhDs that work in that field. Just for a statistic that just, what? Whatever. Anyways, Mikamoko, all this was just to save the following words. Mikamokom lo yaseh malachto iker ela arai v'terosam kla. Now, 1 second. What do those words mean? What do those words mean? What does word ikir mean? The primary focus. So now, there are people, and I know such people, that work 10 hours a day and terosam ikir. They only learn 3 hours a day. Now, this is not a quantitative statement. It's a qualitative statement. Okay? This is the focus. My work is something which I have to do for these and these reasons, and it's very important to me. And I'm going to say this again, just like going to the bathroom, just like eating lunch. There's a lot of things that are important. What? Maybe, perhaps, but that's only because that's in the benefits. But it's not that it's noble in its own right. That's the point. Okay, and this is very dangerous because it's very difficult for a person to do something and do it well and not be attached to it. Now, this is what Gil was talking about. This is why it needs chizuk. This idea. Okay? And if a person does that, now, I'd like to share with you a thought from the Chafetz Chaim. This thought is ingenious. I work for a company, and they feed me lunch when I'm at work. Okay? I go home, do they feed me lunch, supper? No. Who has to pay for my supper? I do. Is that fair? Okay. My company sends me overseas to work. I have to have meetings over there, and I work over there for 10 days. Okay? Every day I work for 6 hours a day, even less than I work when I'm on the base. And they pay for my breakfast, lunch, and supper, and my lodging. Why should they pay for my supper when I'm not working there?
You are still going at his time.
What do you mean? I'm only working 6 hours a day.
It's a unit.
This is very important. This has to be. If you don't know what the word career means, you have to know what this is. This is fascinating. This is a Chavetz Chaim. I'm not speaking right now. I'm quoting the Chavetz Chaim. Because your whole existence over there is via the company. So it's like you're working the whole time. Not because you can't have personal time there. Your existence in that foreign land is the company's responsibility. So it's like you're working 24/7. Okay, is that? I don't think I said anything that you don't know. Says the Chavetz Chaim, and there's different sources as to how he said this. The person who goes to work in order they should be able to learn, he gets schar for his work, just like according to some sources, or as a mitzvah. Why? Just like your supper when you're in Honolulu. Why am I working now? So I should be able to learn. So that's what my Chiyuv of Limud Torah brought me to that place. So my work is not only a Dvar Rishus, it's a Dvar Mitzvah. How's that for uplifting thought? I have no understanding of the question. Well, I don't understand the question. Let's forget about your kids. What about to pay for your wife to have supper? Is that included in the same question? What? Well, I asked the question. Is your wife's supper included? Why not? You're mechuyev to, and you have a chiyuv to send your children to yeshiva Torah. What's the difference? 1 second. So here we're talking about now depends which child you're talking about, right? But Moshe Feinstein writes in more than one place that you're not allowed to take off of Meiser your tuition for your children, and not even the girls in Beis Yaakov, because you cannot guarantee, not that you can ever guarantee, but the sensible way to make them from Jews is not to send them to public school. So your chiyuv is to send them to whatever kind of yeshiva they're not discussing where they send them to, and therefore all of your chiyuv you can't take off of Meiser. Now, if your son is 20 years old, and if you don't support him, he'll still go to yeshiva, maybe that's a different story. But be'etzem, in other words, anything which is incumbent upon you as a parent, you cannot take it off of Meiser. So, and I only know of one lady that was brought up Orthodox in a Orthodox community that went to public school and a Shabbat Shabbos today. I only know of one. You know any? Her parents, by choice, sent her to public school, regular public school, and she and her sister are Orthodox, so other sisters are. Well, this is true. This is true, but it's for my generation, your generation. You know, it's what? That generation is still good. I don't know people of our generation. I mean, these very what? Yeah, but it's highly unusual. Highly unusual. Anyways, no mishane. I'm not. You know. Anyways, there was already Beis Yaakov. There was already. You know, the options were there. All right. Anyways, V'yisa v'yiten v'amuna. I was going to think next week we'll do this continue this halacha, but I would like to say over a story. I was yesterday at a hesped for a Gershon, and I wasn't able to stay there for very long, but I was there and I heard the following story. Somebody asked the Chabina Rov about doing some kind of sheker in order to gain some kind of money for his parnasa. And the Chabina Rov said to him, it's not clear to me whether it's mutter or asr, but sheker is not called a shtabus. And this person, for some reason, the Briskerov heard about it also, and he was by the Briskerov, and the Briskerov said, what happened with that thing? You said, and the Briskerov said to me, sheker is not part of a shtabus. Today, I'm just sharing with you this happened today. This I had last night. Today I got a phone call. I get all kinds of phone calls from, I have no idea who I am. Somebody's taking some kind of a college. They need to do one more course to get their BA. And there's a course which they can buy, the thing of the course, and they want to know if they could do it. I said, I can't answer that question. There's a lot of technical stuff which I have no idea. Can't answer. Everybody does this. Everybody does it. They know, then all the fun thing goes around. And I just shared with the person the story. I said, mutter us, I don't know. But you want to know if that's the way to go. So when we speak about Yisa v'yiten be'amuna, so the word be'amuna has two meanings. It means be'amuna in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and emunah in people that you're living with. There's a reason why, and we'll just leave that as something to think about. Why is it necessary on every dollar to say in God we trust? And do we?